Welcome to another episode of Veracity AI Talks, where we explore the challenges and opportunities of artificial intelligence in today's world. I'm your host, Tom Erik Skjønland, and today we're diving into one of the most critical topics in AI, trust. As AI systems become more integrated into our daily lives and business operations, trust in AI is no longer just a philosophical question, it is a fundamental requirement. Can we trust AI to make the right decisions? What does trustworthy AI look like? And how do we ensure transparency, security, and accountability in AI-driven systems? Joining me today is Melissa Maxwell, Product Line Director for the Veracity Data Platform, with deep expertise in data governance, AI, and platform development. Melissa is here to help us unpack the complexities of trust in AI. Welcome, Melissa. Great to have you here.
Great. Happy to be here and part of this conversation.
Melissa, let's start with a big question. What does trust in AI actually mean, and how do we define it in a world where AI is making more and more decisions?
That is a big question, Tom Erik. So the challenge of trust in AI is, I think, evolving faster than what most organizations are able to keep up with. What we're seeing is across industries, a move from primarily using AI as part of a decision support system where humans will take this information that is generated by AI to make decisions and take actions to more autonomous AI systems. And so this really is a paradigm shift when you think about it, where we as a society are not just using AI to generate information that a human then who has full autonomy and ability to reason and context and just humans are taking that information to make decisions, but that we have these AI systems that are generating information for themselves. They're making decisions and then they're taking action with minimal human oversight. And so because of this paradigm shift, we are now forced to think about trust in AI systems a bit differently. In this previous paradigm, where we have humans using AIs as assistants in decision making, we generally prioritized things such as accuracy and consistency. Questions like, can I trust this system because I think it is going to give me the right answer? And do I think that this AI system will consistently generate the right answer? Those things are, of course, still very important, if not more important, in this new, more autonomous AI paradigm. But we're also thinking more heavily about AI in terms of control. And so how much autonomy do we give these AI systems? And under what conditions is there an appropriate level of risk for us to enable AI in a more autonomous way?
Do you have an example of this?
Yeah, of course. And so one example that we're thinking a lot about right now in Veracity is really revolves around this concept of agentic AI. And so agentic AI is where we have AI systems that are pursuing goals independently, and then they're adapting to new situations in their environment and then taking actions without constant human input. So then this raises, serious trust challenges where trust isn't, of course, like I said before, just about accuracy and reliability, but it's also about alignment with human goals. Is this AI system doing what I've asked it to do? And is it performing in the way or behaving in the way that I expect it to? And so with agentic AI, when the stakes are high, we have to start thinking about trust in terms of, do we have strong validation mechanisms? Do we have explicit, clear, and understood control layers that are enabling AI, but also keeping us safe and trustworthy? And of course, making sure that we still have human oversight where it matters to ensure that the AI systems are operating safely and in ways that are expected and tolerable.
Let me attempt an analogy to make sure I fully understand. Would this be the same as giving your credit card to your 10-year-old, asking him or her to go to the grocery store and trust that they don't end up at a candy store?
Yeah, okay, so that's such a good analogy. And I'd actually I'd take it one step further. And I would say it's actually a little bit more similar to giving your 10-year-old the keys to your car and saying, hey, go buy groceries for the week, and then expecting them to go to the grocery store, get the vegetables, safely drive your car back without going off the road, and not coming back with a bunch of chocolates. So.
Not sure I would do that. But okay, so trust isn't just about how well AI performs. It's also about perception. Do you think the general public trusts AI today?
Yeah, I think that the public's relationship with AI is complex, and I think it's dynamic and it's evolving, especially as we're seeing AI more and more in our consumer products. I think things like ChatGPT and the explosion of that, has started to normalize AI in a way that wasn't done previously. And I think where we're going to go with AI, and kind of a bit where we are today, is that people aren't really going to think about AI when it's working well. It's like plumbing, you don't notice the plumbing when it's working well, but once it breaks, it really starts to, you notice it. And so when AI fails, as we've have more and more AI systems that we rely upon, trust is going to erode rapidly. And I think you can think about this even now today when you think about the early days of ChatGPT, where you'd put a prompt in ChatGPT and you'd get some really cool, compelling answers. But then when you really thought about it, or if you looked at the sources, you would be like, wow, they just totally made that up. And that really cost people to lose faith or not have trust in AI. And so that problem is something that we have to solve. And it is being solved, but it won't be overnight. And I would expect to see a lot of innovation in this space.
So that brings us to a key challenge, explainability. AI, and especially with LLMs, often operates as a black box. How can we make AI more explainable and also accountable?
Yeah, okay, so the black box problem is not going away with AI. And in a lot of ways, especially with LLMs and generative AI, this black box problem is actually growing in complexity. And so when you think about LLMs and generative AI, the way that those models are working, they're really making decisions and generating responses dynamically based off of probabilities. And probabilities are actually something that the human mind isn't very good at really understanding. It takes a very, very special mind to really understand probabilities in a tangible way. And so that type of mechanism is already hard, and it's not that visible. And on top of that, we don't really have a lot of really, really good explainability tools. And so with traditional AI, we've developed things like decision trees or feature attribution. But in this generative AI paradigm, in this domain, those tools aren't as effective. And so we have to start thinking about tooling to unpack the black box in ways of behavioral monitoring, tracking AI's decisions over time, analyzing patterns and detecting deviations, and then figuring out how to mitigate those actions.
So transparency, accountability is obviously key. What about biases in AI? How do we ensure AI systems are fair and that they're not reinforcing existing inequalities?
Yeah, bias mitigation in AI is not a solved problem, and LLMs have really made this worse in some cases. So many LLM models are trained on internet scale data sets, and I think, as we all know, the internet isn't necessarily the area that doesn't have bias. I think the internet really reflects a lot of social biases. And so if you take all of the internet's data, or the data that these LLMs are trained on, and you clean it, and you pre-audit the data, and you say, okay, there's no bias in that data, you're still going to have the risk of bias still being formed and learned by the model, because the models will dynamically learn as humans who have biases are interacting with it in a way that is then introducing bias. And so, the solution is multifaceted. It's going to involve and does involve things like real-time bias detection, things like AI self-correction mechanisms, making sure that you still have human oversight in the loop, and ensuring that when the humans are there, really trying to determine if there's bias in the model or an AI system, that they themselves are diverse, and is a big area of space that I think companies like DNV and other companies will be thinking about a lot in the future.
That's a great point. What role does Veracity play in building trust in AI?
What a great question. And I think, just as every company is doing right now, Veracity is really trying to define where our role is in the future of trust with AI. But one thing that is absolutely for certain is Veracity's role in ensuring that AI is built upon trusted data that has verifiable lineage, and that we have indisputable data provenance over. And this, as our systems become more autonomous and the AI systems are taking decisions without human intervention or little human intervention, and in more risky or regulated areas, this is going to become or continue to be the utmost importance, and is absolutely where Veracity will continue to provide a lot of value.
AI security is a major concern, from adversarial attacks to data poisoning. How do we ensure that AI is not only trustworthy, but resilient to manipulation?
Yeah, AI security is definitely an underdeveloped area of cybersecurity relative to traditional cybersecurity. And I think we've had a really good talk about this. We had Thomas on, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions as this is. Sure. And so, as you mentioned, with AI and these new dynamic autonomous AI systems, we have new attack vectors that are in place. And so we're at risk of things like adversarial attacks that impact model inversion, or prompt injection attacks that are able to not only manipulate the output of your AI model, but also extract very sensitive information. And so I think that, with these agentic AI systems, these are really just making the risk much higher. And so we have to develop or invest in counterproductive countermeasures such as AI red teaming, and then ensuring that your data and your models are well understood and in really secure environments.
Very good. As AI regulations evolve, how do you see the governance frameworks shaping the future of trust?
Yeah, this is a dynamic and ever-evolving space, and when you think about, look out to the world and think geographically what's happening, if you look to the West, you see the EU with the EU AI Act, where we've set precedent by categorizing AI systems based off of risk and then imposing strict compliance requirements based off of the risk. You see in the United States, Biden had written an executive order that had similar mechanisms, not exact, but similar. And then it'll be very interesting to see what happens under the Trump administration and how that impacts the U.S.'s policies on AI regulation. When you look to the East, you see China has aggressive AI regulations that really focus around content control and security. And you look at places like Singapore, where they're actually leading in areas such as AI ethics and responsible deployment. So it's an ever-evolving space and something to definitely continue to keep track of, because it has very real impacts on how these systems operate in the world and how we can trust these systems. Definitely.
And looking forward, do you think we'll reach a future where AI is universally trusted, or do you think there always will be skepticism?
Yeah, I mean, I can't name a single technology that is completely universally trusted, but I do think that AI, reliable and trustworthy AI, is achievable, and in fact, it exists today. And when you think about AI trust, it's not this binary, yes, I trust it, or no, I don't trust it. It's a gradient, and of course, it really does depend on your risk tolerance and which system you're in, and if you're regulated, the maturity of the models and things of that sort. And AI in general, that trust is going to be earned and is earned through consistent and predictable behavior. And so as things like autonomous AI systems prove themselves to be useful, secure, and controllable, trust will continue to grow, and maybe we'll reach close to universal trust. But, you know.
Thank you, Melissa, for such an insightful discussion. Trust in AI isn't just a technical challenge, it is a societal one. And it's clear that the right approach to data integrity, security, and transparency will be key to AI's future success. That's it for today's episode of Veracity AI Talks. If you found this discussion valuable, stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of AI. I'm Tom Erik Skjønland. Thanks for watching, and remember, trust in AI starts with the right questions.